Living Clean, Living Well is a presentation of the Canadian Centre for Abuse Awareness and is brought to you by Turning Point Detox and by Renaissance. The road to recovery starts here.
Welcome to Living Clean, Living Well, everyone. I'm Teresa Kruze, your host. Really glad to be with you live tonight on CTS Television. You know, every week when we do this show, I am so thrilled with the people that take the time to pick up the phone and talk to us. I've always said that this show is just a great learning and sharing forum. We want to hear from those people that perhaps maybe are struggling right now in life, you know, trauma, crisis. Life can hit you on the chin right sometimes, you know, and you know, we're here, we're Canada's only live interactive television talk show that deals with addictions and substance abuse. So I'm thrilled when every week I see those phone calls start to come in right across the prairie provinces, all the way out to the West Coast, right out to the Maritimes, up to Yukon, down to the upper United States. It's amazing where these phone calls have come in. So tonight, I am incredibly pleased to tell you that we have two wonderful guests just off the airplane from Vancouver, British Columbia. Please welcome to the show Giuseppe Ganci, who's sitting next to me, and Darren Gaylor. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So an early start for you this morning, huh?
Early start. Yes.
4:30 a.m. I think
Before
you
the
were
sun.
Before the
Yes,
sun.
actually it was pretty dark out. It was pretty dark.
So they're here tonight. You and I have actually been in conversation for about the past year about coming onto the show, and it's finally happened. They are both from Last Door, a terrific recovery center out in Vancouver. They have referral offices where, Giuseppe?
We have a referral office in Toronto, one in Calgary, one in Regina, and we're currently looking at developing one in Edmonton.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Now, they've come out with some great things. And first of all, it's going to be great to see what it is then, some of the work that you're doing out on the West Coast, and talk about that. But Giuseppe has come up with an amazing app for your iPhone that I think you guys, it's about to go live here. In fact, this is its big launch, so we're going to be telling you about that. But first, let's learn a little bit about the work that they're doing at Last Door in Vancouver. Sure. I guess you've been on the go now. The center's been open for 25 years. Yeah. What is it that you do there?
Well, Last Door's been around since 1984. Close to 30 years. We're actually getting in the mood to start celebrating and setting up a committee to start our 30th anniversary celebrations, because it's a big deal. Last Door started off as just a 20-bed kind of organization that helped people get clean. It was started off by some volunteers, and it had maybe 10, 20 beds, and now we have over 100 beds. We do primary treatment for about 60 clients. The rest of our treatment is for transitional living. So we have people that will stay with us for 3 or 4 months. We'll have people that will stay with us for 6 months. We have people that will stay with us for 3 years. It all depends on their program, what their needs are. We get clients from all over the country, all over the United States. So it really depends. If somebody's coming from the city of Calgary, they'll stay with us for about 3 or 4 months, and then they'll do continuing care within their city. That's why we have affiliate offices around Canada for our continuing care. But Last Door is a long-term residential addiction treatment center for drugs, alcohol, nicotine, gambling, and video games as well. And we're a male facility. We have 2 core programs. One is a youth program for 13 to 19-year-olds, and then our adult program is for 19 and older, and our oldest client has been in his 70s coming to treatment. We're pretty dynamic, we're pretty diverse, and Last Door is definitely one of the premier centers in Canada to get well.
Darren, you've got an abstinence-based program, right?
Abstinence-based, absolutely. But not only just to provide an environment for abstinence, it's an environment to treat people. It like not just away from their addictions, but into their new way of living. We invite and incorporate all relationships of any resident that comes into our program. We open the doors, you know, after a little bit of stabilization, of course, we open the doors to their families, wives, children, anybody that needs to be involved, not just wants to be, but that's the thing. Addiction comes with a big effect on the family and anyone involved, and we just see it as the time and the environment to provide that treatment when that individual comes in. So, I mean, we do awesome work. I love it.
Yeah, I've often been wondering, you know, I was asking them earlier what their journey was and how they ended up at Last Door. Giuseppe, would you like to share?
Most of the staff at Last Door, I think there's out of the 26, 27 employees, only 2 are not former clients, 3 actually. The rest are former clients. I was working for the Italian government, actually. I had a business development job there, and unfortunately my addiction had progressed. I'm an Ontario resident. I was born here in Ontario, and I tried to do the geographical change. I thought there was something wrong with Ontario, so I decided to move to Vancouver, and all my problems would get solved. And when I moved to Vancouver, situations changed, and my addiction just got a lot worse, and I was getting older. And finally, my boss intervened, and there was a bit of an intervention at my office, and everyone saw that I had a problem but me. And I definitely did not think I had a problem. And eventually my problem became grave enough that I had to go to a detox center and I had to go to treatment. And thankfully I went to Last Door. And I chose Last Door because while I was in detox, I knew that there were no smoking. I knew that they were there's something about Last Door that intrigued me. The whole staff was in recovery, and when I was talking to them, I'm like, this is the kind of place that's probably going to change me. And part of me didn't want to go there. Part of me was like, I don't really want to change, but part of me wanted to go and change. And so I went to Last Door and started my journey in recovery. And a few years after that, I became an employee. I started working on their 25th anniversary campaign, and from there it turned into a contract job. And from there, I now have a title there and have an office there, and I love doing what I do there.
And doing great
Yeah,
work.
definitely.
Darren, how about your journey?
Well, I mean, I was no different than anybody else. I was wanting to experiment at a young age, so I just got right into it. And you know what? In the beginning, the drugs, the alcohol, it did everything I wanted it to. And so there was no reason to quit. But the thing was, when it came time to look at that, I wasn't able to see it, like Giuseppe says. I think it's typical for most addicts to be unaware. And that's part of the teaching, is to develop that awareness, that self-awareness. And there's a lot of shame in the not being able to stop. I was in my first treatment center when I was 19 years old. Not for my, authority. It was, I was doing it for my family. So I didn't have any intrinsic reasoning to be there. I just showed up and wasn't in the mindset to change. And in that mindset, I visited a few more treatment centers along the way. Again, into the progression of addiction, different drugs, drugs I said I was never, ever going to do. And basically, in the end, by myself, all my relationships were done, and I was walking literally into the forest, about 1 kilometer away from the house that I grew up in, to detox from heroin and cocaine in the forest, in a fort that I built when I was 11 years old. And I stayed there a few nights, and lo and behold, I'm about, sitting there contemplating what I'm going to do next. Because I'm all alone. I mean, that's where the addict ends up. People that love me all around, but all alone. Yeah. And I hear my name. And at first I thought I was hearing things, and then I listened again. And my dad had hiked into the woods. I remember, I won't forget it. He's in his cutoff shorts, and he's got this big long staff, because there's bears and cougar where I was. And pulled me out, and he said, I can take you to the Last Door right now. All you have to do is agree. And I said, okay. And I had I did it for him. I didn't do it because I was filled with hope. I did it for him, and he dropped me off, and it was the guys there. It was the relationships and the energy that was in that place when I walked in. It was like a big warm hug. I mean, literally, people say that all the time. Like families that come and visit, they don't want to leave. They're just like, what's going on here? And it's just that. Yeah. It's just that we know where you've been, we know what you need, so you don't need to ask, just come on it.
Yeah, very well said. So tonight, not only are we finding out what great work that they're doing out in Vancouver, but we're also hearing their personal stories. So we're going to take our first break. But when we come back, we're going to open up the toll-free lines. I also want to tell you about a few other things that are very exciting for all of us that people can take part in. So when we come back, these two gentlemen have opened up their hearts and they've shared their stories. So we're here for your phone calls tonight if you would like to call in. And it'll also be, like I said, we've got a few interesting things to tell you about. So our first break on Living Clean, Living Well, we'll be right back right after this.
When you find you're slowly going under, and the light only makes it harder, well, light only makes it harder to see. I will be your shelter from the thunder, just as long as you give this promise to me. And let me walk you to the water. If you just let go, you will come to know what I mean when I say that it's okay to be this bold. I could ease the hurt if you only turned at my word and you do me this honor. Let me walk you to the water.
You're watching Living Clean, Living Well, right here on CTS Television tonight. Very pleased to have from Vancouver two wonderful guests, Darren Gaylor, who is at the end, and Giuseppe Ganci, who has come in. And we've been talking a little bit about their journeys. We've been talking a little bit about Last Door. And now I've got something for you guys that was coming up on what's going to be happening with your iPhone soon. But first of all, we just wanted to quickly show you, you have a number of facilities in the Lower Mainland area there.
Well, we're based in New Westminster, which is a small community outside of Vancouver, about a 20-minute ride by SkyTrain or by car. And it's really one of our secrets to our success. We're non-institutional by any means. Last Door is made up of 5 buildings. They're all kind of next door to each other, but they're very community-based. Our clients aren't on lockdown. So for the first couple of weeks, they are in restrictions mode, but they definitely get to enjoy the city of New Westminster.
Great.
So we're a social model program that really focuses on community, which is big for addicts.
And you also do events and things like that. It's not all hard work.
For
huh?
30 years, Last Door is very strong on building community support and building community events. The reason why we do a lot of events is, one, addicts need to be given an opportunity to try new things. And a lot of times they just don't think they can have fun without the use of drugs or alcohol. So Last Door's duty is to teach them how to have fun with their families, clean and sober and so forth.
To be a part of the world, to be a part of the community. You know, I mean, to not lock somebody away in an institution up on the hill,
Yeah.
right? Involve them.
Yeah.
Like
So you had a great slow pitch tournament?
Last Door's been doing a recovery slow pitch tournament. It's our 14th year now, and we get thousands of people. And a lot of people don't realize there's a huge recovery slow pitch league. I'm not sure about Ontario, but in British Columbia, it's really big. And Last Door has one of the largest recovery slow pitch tournaments. And other people just don't understand that. Like, nobody
We had
drinks.
20 teams.
Did you? Wow.
20 plus
26
awesome.
teams this year. Last year we had 36 teams, but we had to scale it down a bit because it was just too big. We're like, oh my God, this is turning into the Super Bowl. I'm going crazy. I lost my hair last year. So it's a lot of work, but at 26 we can manage it. We've got a great crew.
All recovery teams.
Everyone's in recovery, and it's a 3-day weekend, and it's not about the ball. I mean, obviously there's trophies and people are going to win, and there's divisions and there's some sportsmanship, but it's about the unity, it's about the community, it's about a guy with 30 days clean invites his mom to the barbecue and his kids, and they're sitting there and watching ball. 2 months ago he was in detox or sick. So it's all that goes on besides the ball, and it's just taking pictures of people smiling, and we're not causing damage in the community anymore. We're playing slow pitch and having fun in recovery. It's a big deal.
So we are so pleased to publicly announce a new app for all of you that love your smartphones. And if you are traveling, this will come in real handy. And Giuseppe, you actually created this app that anyone can use, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Tell us about it.
Well, this is definitely one of the first opportunities to be able to tell the world about Unity. It's a project that I've been working on with some key people for the last year. And it started, I do a lot of conferences for Last Door. We go across the country, and we do different addiction and recovery conferences and so forth. So I realized one day where I was using online databases to find meetings, and I kind of was having a difficult time, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could connect with people in recovery through social media, people that I don't know, but simply we're like-minded people, we're both in recovery, we're both in the same 12-step fellowship, and from that idea spawned a year's worth of work, and the app is now complete. It's being uploaded into iTunes. I was hoping it would have been done by Friday, but it's in Apple's hands now, so it's called a review phase in the Apple world, and that could take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. So basically Unity's goal is to connect the recovery community across the world, so it doesn't matter where you are, you're always connected, and if you need help, and your sponsor or your best friend isn't reachable, you can get the recovery community in the city that you're in at the tap of a button. So it's going to be launched in Australia, United Kingdom, the United States, and Canada within the next couple of days.
That is awesome. So how are you going to get the word out?
Well, I'm a marketing guy, so we definitely have a marketing, we have it right here through this show. We have a marketing campaign that's going to start. The recovery community has its own heartbeat. And I really believe that a good idea is a good idea, and it's a practical app that I would like to use. So I definitely believe that once the word gets out there and when people need help, they want to connect with people. And this app's going to give them that opportunity to connect with people.
So they'll be able to find it on the iTunes
Yes,
app page?
it's you can actually go online right now. It's unityapp.net. That is the website for it, but it's an iPhone app, so there's just information online. A Facebook page will start eventually. It just hasn't yet because the app hasn't launched, but as soon as iTunes puts it on its store, or the App Store, I'm sorry, you just go into Unity app and it will come up for you.
Darren, have you had a chance to take a look at it?
Well, I've been seeing all the pictures and that, but he's keeping it top secret.
Oh, he is, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a test version on my phone with a couple other developers, just so we can work out all the things that need to be worked out. But yeah, definitely.
I can't wait to use it though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so necessary.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it really is.
When you were telling me about it on the phone, I went, wow, this is amazing. Because there's a lot of people that travel.
Yes.
And you're right, you were looking for meetings and things like that online.
And sometimes just a cup of coffee or a conversation or it puts the right person in the right place at the right time when you need them.
Well, anybody that's in recovery knows how you used to do it. You used to kind of walk down the street, near a busy part, and you'd look at someone and you're like, okay, he's in recovery.
Yeah.
And you'd ask, and then you'd find out where the meeting is. This just makes it a little easier.
Yeah. And social media has changed the way that we talk to each other. So someone's from a city and they go to treatment 2 provinces away or 2 states away. For them to finish treatment and to go back to their home community, I strongly believe it's easier for someone to introduce themselves online to somebody and get invited to go somewhere than to just by yourself walk into a strange community and walk into a strange meeting and say, hi, I just got out of treatment. Anybody want to talk to me? But with doing it online, research also shows, I've done some research on this, it shows that people are more easily accepting the fact that they can connect with someone online, build a relationship, and then go from there. And I think Unity app is going to be one of those things that just makes it easier.
So, coming to your iTunes app page, it's the App Store, right?
It's the App Store, yes.
Yeah, you can tell. I just got my iPad, actually. That's been really
did you?
cool. Yeah,
Right
yeah,
on.
I'm really enjoying it.
And Unity is just another way to show Last Door isn't just a treatment center. I mean, Last Door is behind Unity app, and it just shows how innovative Last Door is. We're, some people think we're a recovery house, but we're a treatment center, recovery house / innovator and pioneer. We have our own custom electronic health record system that we developed a few years ago, and now finally, we're receiving all the rewards of that. All of our screenings, all of our intake screening forms, everything from the first call to when you're finished treatment to continuing care is all computerized. There's been treatment centers and health authorities trying to incorporate systems like that for years. Last Door did it in the period of a year and a half. All staff buy-in. I mean, it's a big deal for a treatment center to have all electronic records.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about this new app that is about to hit that will help you in your recovery? Do you have some questions about addiction, substance abuse? Perhaps maybe you're in crisis, maybe a family member is in crisis. Our toll-free lines are now open, folks. We'll start taking your phone calls very soon. And Darren and Giuseppe off the top of the show were very kind to tell us about their journeys. They are also in recovery, so they've been there. And you guys were saying anybody that works there can pick up the phone. You're ready to take a call, right?
Oh, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely. That's, I mean, part of my job isn't just, one-on-one or doing group facilitations. I mean, I walk into the office and the phone rings, I pick it up, and I'm talking to a mom. And that's what we all do there because we've all been through it.
Yeah.
And we all know how to have that conversation. It's not all, degrees on the wall, or a bunch of seminars. The effects of drugs on the brain doesn't seem to keep people
We all
clean.
know what the effects of drugs are on the
Right.
brain.
It's just about a community of energy about how do we get well.
Yeah.
So
That's the bottom line. So you ready to take some phone calls?
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely,
Because
yeah.
they're ready to talk to you.
We're always here, ready to help.
Here we go. So let's open them up. Let's go to line 2 right now. Linda's calling in from Toronto. Hi, Linda. You're live on
Hi,
the
Linda.
show. Welcome. Hi, Linda. You there? I can hear our television. Linda, honey, have you got us there? You know what? We'll come back to Linda. Maybe our director can sort that out. I don't think she was hearing us very well, so that's all right. Did you know that there is a recovery day that happens down in the United States? In fact, a recovery month. Giuseppe, why don't you tell us a bit about that and how Canada is now starting?
Yes, definitely. If you go online, in the States a few years ago, they started a project called Recovery Month. It's on Facebook, it's on Google, it's everywhere. And what's happened is there's different cities that have taken their own recovery day, and it's all different days throughout the month. And some colleagues of mine at the Orchard Treatment Center, they ended up deciding to initiate a project with the Drug Prevention Network of Canada for Recovery Day, and I got myself on the planning committee. And what was going to be a grassroots celebration at the Art Gallery in Vancouver, which is kind of the place where everyone does their rallies and protests or fun days, it's turned into where we're expecting probably a few thousand people. And basically the goal of Recovery Day is to show the solution. It's to promote that people do get clean, and it's to promote, especially in Vancouver, where there's I'm not sure if everyone knows, but Vancouver has a serious addiction problem with Maine and Hastings, where there's rampant drug use at every corner down there, and there's a lot of video and newscasts about that problem. And so this is for people that are in long-term recovery, newcomers to come out and say, hey, I want to get clean, I want to be drug-free, alcohol-free, and it's just to show that there are thousands of people that are living in recovery, and addiction isn't all about drugs. Addiction is also about recovery, and I'm really proud to be on the planning committee for Recovery Day, and we're going to have a great day. There's going to be vendors, there's going to be music, there's going to be speakers. The City Hall is actually going to read the proclamation they made September 30th, Recovery Day in Vancouver, and there's little pods of recovery people through Facebook and social media that are like, I want to do it in our city. So Victoria now has a day as well. The mayor's proclaimed September 30th in Victoria, and I know there's pods of people in Toronto and Ottawa trying to do the same. So if you're in recovery and you live in Toronto and you live in Ottawa, find out who those people are, or go to facebook.com/recoveryday, and you can find out who's doing it in the other cities, and try to push your mayor of your city to actually have a recovery day in your city, because we need to show everyone that recovery works. There's a lot of people telling everybody that addicts can't get clean, so we need to make sure that people know that addicts can't get clean.
It's not about breaking your anonymity.
Yeah.
I
No.
mean, that's what comes along in connotation with recoveries. You got to keep it anonymous. But the thing is there are those that suffer from that anonymity that don't get to hear about recovery and where to go.
Yeah.
So those who can, I'm not saying everybody could, but for those who can, September 30th.
Art Gallery of Vancouver, we're going to be there with smiles and have a good time.
So, mayors of Canada, are you listening? Vancouver, Victoria, they are on the road for September 30th, marking that as Recovery Day. And I hope Toronto and Ottawa and Calgary and Edmonton, everybody's listening. And give us that Facebook page again.
It's facebook.com/recovery day.
Great, there we can go on there and start using social media. So we're going to take another break here on Living Clean, Living Well. When we come back, Darren Gaylor and Giuseppe Ganci from Last Door in Vancouver here to take your phone calls. A short break. See you soon.
Thank you.
Is someone else's drinking affecting your life? Does it make you feel angry?
Don't yell at me because you're mad at your mom. She's the drunk, not me.
Does it make you feel sorry for yourself?
Hey, Tanya's drinking again, and maybe next time.
Or does it even make you feel frightened?
Does Daddy have to drink so much?
No matter how you feel, we can help. We're Al-Anon family groups, and we know what it's like. Just call 1-888-4-AL-ANON. To help them, you have to help yourself first.
Hi, I'm Oliver Piggott. And I'm Sebastian Piggott. Like most Canadians, we've seen the devastating effect addiction can have on the lives of close friends and family members.
We've also been fortunate enough to witness the power of recovery and see firsthand the way someone can truly reclaim their life.
If you or someone you love struggles with alcohol or drug addiction, call Renison. They offer compassionate, effective treatment in a supportive home-like environment.
They also offer groundbreaking services to family and children of loved ones affected by drinking and drug use. Don't waste this moment alone. Call now.
Let Renison be your shelter from the thunder. Let them walk you to the water.
Welcome back, everybody. My guests tonight, Darren Gaylor and Giuseppe Ganci from Last Door in Vancouver, BC. Just got them off the airplane and they're here talking to us tonight. So we're going to open up the phone lines again. We've got our technical issues sorted out with Linda. Let's go to line 2 right now. Linda's calling in from Toronto. Hi, Linda, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi there. Welcome to the show tonight. Have you got a question or a comment from my guests?
Yes, I'm a recovering addict of 18 years. Alcohol was the main drug.
Congratulations.
I've recovered, though, from all other addictions, too, because I don't think that I'm clean and sober otherwise. But what helped me most was for 5 years I did family of origin work with post-traumatic stress disorder in psychodrama. And I've learned that I've had to go deep. Like, this is really, really serious stuff. And I think that getting clean and sober is just the icing on the cake. It's complete restoration of the spirit, the soul, the mind, the whole body. And we considered it breaking free to get out of the sick, dysfunctional family of origin and move on to a new life, a life that we create with God and ourselves. So I just wondered if there were any comments on that.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Linda. That's, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you know, part of the mentorship and what I heard, you know, when I got clean was breaking the chains of addiction And it means exactly that. With how we were brought up or whatever values were given to us, however we, developed our belief systems, a lot of it came about the family unit, whether it be a sick one or a healthy one or whatever, you would call it. And just find your own, like you said, that health of the spirit. And, we do that kind of work. I mean, just involving the families at all cost, and just giving somebody some time to where they can start expressing themselves as to what it was like, Not everybody's, upbringing was a great story. And so they needed an opportunity to start having that story being told. So.
I strongly believe getting clean is the easy part. Go to detox, stop using drugs. It's really easy. I mean, I did it for 7 days, but the goal then is how do you stay clean? Yeah. And if you can't get through a day without having gratitude, without understanding that a lot of the mistakes that have happened in your life are because of me, like I'm the one that was in all of the equations of all those bad decisions, and start taking my own inventory, there's no way I'm going to stay clean. And it's one thing that I tell my friends that are in early recovery, it's I need to start taking responsibility for my life. Like whether or not I had a good life, I had a bad life, a great family or a bad family, it's what am I going to do today? Am I going to appreciate what I got today? Am I going to be part of society in a good way? Or am I going to be just a victim in society? And if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm going to do something good today and try to be the best person I can be today, I'll probably stay clean today. And it took me a little while to understand that, because I was the guy that was just a victim all the time and angry and mean. But then what happened with me was I finally had an opportunity to realize I need to lighten up. Like I need to chill out. I need to just enjoy the day. And when I started doing that, my life got really simple. It really got simple. And it took other people like you with 18 years clean or sober, it took people like you to prove to me that if you do that consecutively on a daily basis, you'll probably end up with 18 years clean. Because I don't want to be 10 years clean or 15 years clean miserable. What's the point? Yeah. What's the point? I don't even want to be loaded miserable. I want to be happy. And being around like-minded people that have multiple years, I think I can learn how they did it, and I'll do it myself too.
But that's awesome, Linda. That's great.
I know. Big thumbs up from all of us, and I loved her line, the restoration of the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Yes.
Linda, you've got it. Thank you so much for sharing tonight. Let's go to line 1, and calling in from Mississauga is Anne. Hi there, Anne. You're live on the show. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Anne.
I just wondered if you could tell me if Tylenol 3 can be addictive. Like I've been diagnosed with arthritis, and the doctor put me on Tylenol 3, and that's been about 4 years now, 3 to 4 years, and I take 2 every maybe 4 to 6 hours apart. Would that be addictive and harmful?
Well, I mean, Tylenol 3s do have codeine, which is addictive. It is a narcotic. I'm not going to suggest whether you're using them in an addictive way or not. I mean, most people would just look at what the prescription says, and if they're following it, or if they're starting to take more and more and more. The experience I've had with those using pain medication is that a tolerance does get built. And therefore, they're still feeling the pain. So, I mean, I always, suggest to talk to addiction specialists when it comes to treating pain. Most addiction specialists will have a substitute painkiller that's non-narcotic, non-addictive, and if you can do that.
And of course, Anne, you should always deal with your doctor. We're not here to give medical advice on the show, but you know what? I'm so glad that you reached out, because obviously Anne's, she's concerned. We get many phone calls about pain management, that you run a fine line there, and people worry.
It's a big
and
trend.
We've done a number of shows on it, and you know what? There's no easy answers on pain management. So your medical doctor, Anne, and also we have 2 great sponsors. We've got Turning Point Detox Center. We've also got Renaissance. Their numbers are going to be on throughout our show. You can contact them. They're great people. They'll be able to perhaps help you and point you in the right direction. So Anne, I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you reached out. We don't have a hard and fast answer for you because that is a medical question. So start with your doctor, and if you're not getting those answers that you're looking for, then turn to our sponsors. They're, like I said, they're always there, willing to pick up the phone. Let's go now to line 5, and Tony's calling in from London tonight. Hi there, Tony.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been clean for a little over 13 years. My biggest challenge, of course, lately has been getting into casino gambling, and that has really tripped me up quite a bit. Any comments, any ideas how to deal with? Because this is quite new. This is a new form of addiction for me, and I've struggled with that a bit.
You know, Tony, isn't it funny? We just before the show went to air, we had a huge discussion on the addiction of gambling. So this is very timely.
Yeah.
Gentlemen?
Yeah.
What would I'm sorry, was he from London?
Yes.
Ontario's got a great gambling program. BC, that's in British Columbia. The problem gambling program here is great. Definitely contact the casino that you're going to if you are having gaming issues. The first step is to contact them and say, look, I've got some gaming issues. They've got great outpatient services in the province of Ontario. And our suggestion is if you find yourself using your provincial problem gambling services and you're still gambling after that, then that is probably your gambling addiction taking over, where you're trying to use safety measures and they're not working. So definitely get connected with a counselor that has gambling expertise. Definitely an opportunity for you to take a look at looking at different 12-step fellowships for gambling. I definitely know a lot of people that have been clean for multiple years, and gambling usually is the one that will come up secretly, and then when you start losing all your money and you start feeling bad and you start getting the shame that goes along with addiction, that's when the potential of losing your clean time takes place. So it's definitely something that you don't want to take lightly. I know friends that have taken their gambling addiction lightly, and it's definitely caused some major problems in their life. So you need to ask yourself, how much unmanageability is it causing in your life today? If it's causing enough unmanageability in your life where other people's lives are getting unmanageable, then you definitely need to take a look at doing some serious work on getting your gambling issues looked at.
Tony, does that help? Did you have any more questions for them?
No, that's fine, because I mean it's really ironic, because I mean I used to be a street addict in Toronto many years ago, and I mean I moved from that into really getting exceptionally qualified educationally, and but here I am now many years later, just struggling with this particular form of addiction. So
Do you know how to exclude yourself from a casino?
I'm sorry?
Do you know how to exclude yourself from a casino?
I do.
You can contact the casino, and basically what you do is you fill out an application, and basically you tell yourself that I don't want to come here anymore, and they'll put you on a list where you're not allowed to go into the casino. That's an option you can look at.
But it sounds like the concern is like, where is this coming from? Like, haven't had 18 years clean, I thought I dealt with it, and then all of a sudden, I'm into this new addiction. Where did this come from? Does this mean I'm regressing? Or, I mean, let's face it, there are some pretty accepted social addictions that are there to pull you in. And the casinos and the gambling, I mean, they're not built on people winning, so they know what they're doing as far as grabbing your attention. It's the same with the alcohol commercials. I mean, as people who have overused alcohol, watching a commercial with people playing volleyball and having a good time, it's like, well, that looks good. I didn't try it like that. I was in a basement by myself somewhere, and and there's that that pull, that draw that I think addicts have just to get outside of themselves. I deal with it daily, some people call it to fill in the void, and I think Linda touched on it, that spiritual void that happens, and boredom. Addicts, want to talk about finding that complacent time in their life, and it's just yeah, it's boredom. I thought I took care of this. And I've stopped living in recovery and just kind of fallen back into this, things are good now. 9 to 5, monotony, and then realized other areas in their life start coming in, and new pulls and new draws. And I think it's just a reminder to look back inside again, you know, harness that self-awareness and do something exciting. Tony, do something that you love to do.
Yeah.
Because one thing that people do not talk about with gambling is having a passion for it. They don't love it. You got it. It's an addiction, and you need to do something like, I mean, I hate saying you need to, but I mean, just find that passion, right?
I say need to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say need to, for sure.
I'm really glad that we addressed this, because we had a great conversation, like I said, going into the show. Are there parallels, obviously, between, you know, we hear of addictive personalities that it can, you know, go from one addiction to another, right?
Well, it's the whole conversation. I'm different. It'll be different for me. I had a crack problem. I had a heroin problem. I don't have a gambling problem. And you have all these people saying, you know, be careful, because a lot of people end up, you know, at 1 year clean, 2 years clean, doing a little bit of gambling, end up gambling a lot. So just, if you're going to gamble, you know, be safe, have some safety measures, let your friends know what's going on. If you notice that you're spending your paycheck on gambling rather than rent, then it's no different than spending your paycheck on heroin rather than rent. So are you going to be honest about it? And the ones that are honest and say, look, this is what's going on in my life, they end up doing well. And the ones that are lying and getting we call it yellow bank payday loans, like going to the yellow banks instead of the real banks to fund their gambling, those are the ones that probably, you know, will end up relapsing. So it's great that you called, and it's a great topic for people that are in recovery to talk about those little subtle addictions that can creep up into your life.
So just before we quickly go to break here, just give those resources for Tony again. Tony, you can go to that casino, and you can exclude yourself. So if you go to them, and what was the other one?
Every
the
casino,
program?
Every
got that
casino
one.
has an office within their casino, and I'm not too sure what it's called in Ontario. I'm pretty sure it's called Problem Gambling here. And basically they have outpatient services there. They'll connect you. There's counselors. There's usually 2 counselors at every casino, 24 hours a day, ready to help somebody.
Gamblers Anonymous.
There's Gamblers Anonymous for sure.
And doing something you're passionate about.
There you go, Tony, some resources for you. We're going to take a fast break. When we come back, your phone calls, and they are lining up. We've got John, Lindsay, Jennifer, that's just a few. We'll be back to take more of your calls right after this.
I've had numerous opportunities to get into addiction counseling over the past 5 or 6 years. This one at New Awakenings really appealed to me. First off, the facility here, got a swimming pool, there's a gym downstairs. Other side of the fence, golf course, it's fantastic, and the food is, world class. The staff cover all aspects of recovery. These are people with extensive experience in the field, all with the sincere desire to be helpful. If you want a shot at recovery from drug and alcohol addiction, New Awakenings is your best bet. Give us a call. We'll get right back to you.
Statistics state that it is likely you know a victim of abuse. It could be a friend, a relative, a colleague. It could even be you. 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys will be sexually abused before they reach the age of 18. Please give them hope. Help us make it stop. Go to abusehurts.com and give to the Canadian Centre for Abuse Awareness.
You're watching Living Clean, Living Well. I'm your host, Teresa Kruze. So glad to have you with us tonight. We've been talking to Darren Gaylor and Giuseppe Ganci from Last Door in Vancouver, one of the preeminent recovery centers in Canada today, and we're so pleased. I was talking to them for a year, and I finally got them here.
Finally, yes.
Our
Finally
pleasure.
got them
Our
here, so
pleasure.
this is terrific. So
Definitely.
back to the phones. Let's go back and talk to some more people. So line one, John's calling in from Toronto tonight. Hi, John.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, it's your turn. Have you got a question or a comment?
Yes, I do. It's a comment. The caller that was on 2 callers ago, they were talking about the Tylenol 3s. I've been in recovery now for a little over 21 years. And the thing that I've always used for pain, it's a non-narcotic medication. It's called Toradol.
So you
we've
guys are
heard of
shaking
it.
your
Yeah,
heads.
we
Yeah,
definitely
they've
heard of it. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so Toradol, it's again non-narcotic. So there's no buzz, but it has the effect on pain that say a Percocet would. So if you're getting dental work done, which I mean, it's recovery is about living life without substances, and so you're going to have dental work. You're going to get involved in sports. You're going to get injured. I've had a bruised lung. I've had torn tendons. I've had dental work, all very painful, and they were all dealt with a medication called Toradol.
Yeah.
And you
That's
get
great.
that from your doctor?
Yeah, your doctor, definitely. I mean, anybody that has any type of pain management that they need to do, our suggestion always is if you're in recovery, talk about it with your sponsor, talk about it with your doctor, talk about it with your friends, and really, as long as medication is being used followed by the prescription, then you're doing okay. I mean, there are some crafty addicts out there that know how to get double prescriptions, so that's why you need your sponsor and your friends also involved, not just your doctor. But
And it's so disappointing because just personally in my life, I've seen so many close friends relapse in that fashion, as it's justified. My doctor prescribed it.
Doing it for pain, then.
Yeah,
right?
and then it's a little more here, and a little. It's difficult for any addict to manage that on their own.
Yeah.
And so to know the names of different medications that you can bring in, talk to your doctor.
let your doctor know you're an addict.
Yeah.
Or an alcoholic.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And your veterinarian. I have a friend that relapsed on his dog's medication. His dog was on Valium, and he started taking some of the Valium. So he had all his ducks in order for everything else, but here he is taking his dog's Valium. So it's definitely something that you need to involve your support group and your friends so people know.
Yeah. John, thanks so much for A, watching our show, and B, reaching out to help others. Thanks again.
Thank you.
We're going to go to line 3 now, and calling from Hamilton is Lindsay. Hi there, Lindsay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
You're live on our
How
show,
are you?
Lindsay. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've been clean for a little over 5 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Lots of hard work. And I've recently just moved back to Hamilton about a year ago after a pretty rough breakup. And I decided that I wanted to get on with my life and not live with people who are still using.
Atta girl.
So I guess maybe about 2 or 3 months now, off and on, I've been battling with this decision to use or not to use. And I don't know where it's coming from. I've done my 12-step work. I have a wonderful sponsor. She's been in my life for about 12 years. And really, at this point, I don't know what to do or where it's coming from.
Well, as you would probably know, the accept the things we cannot change of the Serenity Prayer, it's just a reminder. I hope that never goes away from me, to tell you the truth, because that's why I have to always turn back to calling somebody I know and that knows me. It reminds me that there's some things in life I am not going to be able to handle by myself. And that's something I fought all my life, and it's okay. Like, it's totally okay that as an addict, you would think of using in a time of transition, in a time of enforced change. You didn't ask for it. It just happened, and it's just, I think it's just a little nudge to see whether or not like you're going to keep doing what you know you need to do, or do what you've always done, kind of thing. And embrace it, I say, and keep doing what you're doing.
You'd be happy to even have the awareness that there's something wrong. I mean, there's a lot of people in this world today that, like me, when I was brand new in recovery, before I got to recovery, I had no awareness that there was a problem in my life. I mean, I needed a team of people to tell me there's something wrong with me. And for you to be able to go through what you're going through and know that there's something going on, I just don't know what it is, so I've got a sponsor, I'm doing some step work, but I still feel like using, it's like Darren said, it is a normal thing, and you can get through this as long as you definitely continue to do the work and not give up on yourself. And I know people that are 15 years clean, 20 years clean. They still go to meetings, they still go to recovery because there's sometimes itch, and it reminds them, it's like, I don't want to go back to detox. I'd rather go to a meeting and celebrate recovery than go to detox and have to go through all that. So I say congratulations that you have the awareness, and give back and help somebody else get through their problems, and maybe it'll help you get through your day.
So let's give Lindsay some steps that she could take for tonight.
Definitely, my suggestion is give back. Find somebody that you can give back to, because I can't get out of my own problems on my own, but if I help somebody else get through their day and get through their problems, it makes mine look like no problem.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Darren, some steps for Lindsay?
I think you just took the first one. Make some more phone calls to allow yourself the truth that it's okay, that it's not abnormal for somebody who's dealt with addictions in the past to to go there. Bring more people into your life that can go, hey, I know exactly how you feel, and that it's going to be okay. Like it's going to be okay.
Normalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lindsay, you're not alone. Thanks so much for the great insight, gentlemen. Line 2, Jennifer's calling in from Toronto tonight. Hi there, Jennifer. You're live on the show. Go ahead. Jennifer, are you there?
Yep, still here.
Hey, hun. You're live on the show right now. You can't watch us on television, so you'll have to turn it down.
So turn the TV down.
But Darren and Giuseppe are here to take your comment or your question, so go ahead.
Hi there, Jennifer. You're live on the show. Go ahead.
Hi, yes, good morning. Yes, the reason I called is almost losing my train of thought here, because it seems just by listening and watching your show tonight, you've answered everything pretty much I've been wanting to say. And many years, quite a few years ago, I was diagnosed with a chemical imbalance and schizophrenia, as they said. Like right now, I feel really nervous because I have panic attacks.
Okay.
And I find I don't know what to do about them. And while I was diagnosed with I'm probably rambling, but while I was diagnosed with the schizophrenia, something really bad happened. I don't know whether to blame myself, but I carry so much shame and guilt through this from my addiction. I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel so ashamed in who I am, and I can't even go outside. I just try to recoil, and I try to, pretty much sleep it off and bury my head under a rock if I could. Just ashamed of who I am. And also, I take methadone, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to get off it. I was taking Oxycontin years ago, but now I'm on methadone for 6 months, and I got to get off that too. So I was wondering how long that's going to take. Can you tell me, please?
Are you taking it for opiate withdrawal management, Jennifer?
Pardon?
Are you taking it for opiate withdrawal management?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
She mentioned the Oxycontins.
Yeah.
Right. The withdrawal from methadone, in our experience, needs a supportive environment.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you know, Jennifer, it's difficult, to manage this on your own, and because once you agree with your doctor, okay, here's the next step, like you go home and just do it by yourself. And I don't know if there's many support groups that are out there for that specific purpose, which there should be, because my own personal experience, methadone's harder to detox off of than heroin. And so this has always been the biggest argument as to, why is it being given for that? And I just feel for you, Jennifer. I mean, I couldn't, when I first got clean, I couldn't walk into a room without breaking out into a panic. In fact, just before we started the show, I was, starting to breathe really heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken quite a bit of time, back to back, day to day, and practicing this and stepping out. But your first responsibility, your first, priority would be to just get yourself into somewhere safe and that can guide you through that detox.
Mm-hmm. Giuseppe, did you have anything to add?
Do you go to any recovery meetings, or do you have any other like-minded people that you could talk to, or are you doing this all on your own?
Oh, maybe Jennifer's listening to us off of her telephone.
Okay.
Jennifer, I'm so glad that you reached out tonight. Our hearts go out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real tough one. I would like to suggest that maybe you could give our sponsors a call, Turning Point Detox.
Mm-hmm.
They are a fabulous group of people that, you pick up the phone and you can call them. We're going to get that telephone number up for you. That's them right now. It's on up there right now. That's Turning Point Detox. And we're also going to be putting up the number for Renaissance. They also have a women's program, and they can help you with your withdrawal from methadone. You can hear in Jennifer's voice, she wants to make this happen.
Yeah.
And she needs to do it with a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing about addiction and recovery is addiction you can do by yourself. I was by myself every time at the end of the night using because I didn't want to share.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to recovery, it's something that you have to do with people. So if you're out there and you're considering on getting clean or sober or stop gambling or stop playing online video games all night long, one bit of advice for everyone is don't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You need to include people, and you need to include more than one person. And if you do that, it will work.
Darren, I've got about 30 seconds. She talked about being so ashamed. Please talk to her about that because she shouldn't be ashamed.
It's the cycle. It's the cycle of addiction. There's no moment I've ever experienced while I was using in that cycle a feeling of integrity, a feeling of dignity, or a feeling of morality that all came with how I lived my life in the abstinent part. Mm-hmm. And it's just about getting to that point. It's just about having enough people tell you that you're worth it to get to that point.
Yeah.
That is great insight. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for calling in
tonight.
Thank you, yes. Just before we wrap up tonight, we're going to take one final commercial break, and then I'll be back with final thoughts. I want to tell you about our upcoming shows. Next week, we have the wonderful folks from Renaissance coming up, and the following week, Dawn Slesser and Linda Bell from Bellwoods. Back with final thoughts right after this.
I've had numerous opportunities to get into addiction counseling over the past 5 or 6 years. This one at New Awakenings really appealed to me. First off, the facility here, got a swimming pool, there's a gym downstairs. Other side of the fence, golf course, it's fantastic, and the food is, world class. The staff cover all aspects of recovery. These are people with extensive experience in the field, all with the sincere desire to be helpful. If you want a shot at recovery from drug and alcohol addiction, New Awakenings is your best bet. Give us a call. We'll get right back to you.
Welcome back. We have had a very wonderful show tonight. I'm so pleased that you took the time to pick up that phone and call in to talk to our guests. So please do, gentlemen, could make it. Some final thoughts, Giuseppe?
Final thoughts. I mean, I might be dressed up in a suit right now, but the reality is I was one of those guys that couldn't stop using, didn't know if I needed to go to the psych ward, didn't know if I had to go to church, didn't know if I didn't know where to go. I was just confused. And a little bit of work, some belief, making new friends, starting to care about the person next to me as well, really got me out of my shell, really got me to calm down and realize that I'm worth living. And it just turned out that I get to stay clean.
Awesome. Darren?
You know, this was a work trip, and you know, having had the calls from those folks, it was like, it just reminds me of like why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it gives me a sense of purpose. It doesn't just give me a job, and I just want to say, you know, where there's life, there's hope.
Awesome. So final words, that's it, and a great way to end this show. Darren Gaylor and Giuseppe Ganci from Last Story in Vancouver. Will you gentlemen come back and see us again?
Oh, I'd love to, for sure.
We would love that too. And I hope you're back to see us next week. Take care, everybody. I'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Living Clean, Living Well has been brought to you by Turning Point Detox and by Renaissance. Living Clean, Living Well has been a presentation of the Canadian Centre for Abuse Awareness